probably about 10 or 15 minutes. And then I want to do a panel, basically a fireside chat with Tương from Christina's company. Hopefully you've heard of Christina's company. If not, you're going to learn more about them today. And how they're benefiting and driving culture using workplace in their organization. And then finally we'll open it up for questions and answers. So we want to keep this really interactive. So yeah, please feel free to raise your hand and ask questions and participate. Great. First thing I want to show you is a video, because I think a lot of people today think of Facebook as just the blue app on your phone. But actually Facebook has evolved a lot over the last 12 years, and it's much more than just the blue app that you may use every day or every week in your personal lives. Let me just put this here.
Friends, families, teams, tribes, colleagues, communities. It's human nature. People like to be with other people. Because when we humans do a lot on our own, the simple truth is sometimes we're even better together. Which is why we're drawn to interact and connect in simple and powerful ways, to express our likes and loves and so much more. These are opportunities to share, to discover, and to inspire. It's where amazing things have the opportunity to happen every single day. More than just on Facebook, but on our growing family of apps and services. Bringing us together in ways that are both accessible and incredible, delivering more than just likes and views, but measurable value for people and businesses alike. This is the incredible power of connecting us all. And it's just getting started.
Facebook's mission. So Facebook is a very, very mission-driven company, and everything we do, including building planes that will beam down internet access to remote and unconnected places, everything we do is really in pursuit of this mission. So this is a new mission that our CEO announced a couple of months ago, and so Facebook's mission is to give people the power to build community and bring the world closer together. The former mission, so the mission of the company for the last 12 years prior to this, was to make the world more open and connected and give people the power to share. But everything we do for the last 12 years and now moving forward for the next decade is going to be in pursuit of this mission, right? And if you think about work communities, we think there's a big opportunity to help build community within the workplace as well. A lot of people spend a lot of time at work. There's about 3 billion people in the global workforce, and for a lot of people, work is very important to them, right? And so we think there's really an opportunity with workplace to help build work community as well. And we'll talk about that a little bit later too, as well. Just to put a slide that helps capture the video we played a few moments earlier, this is the 10-year roadmap that our CEO, Mark, presented at our tech conference, F8, in April earlier this year. Right, and so when we think about Facebook, of course, for a long time, Facebook was really just that one blue app on your phone. But this is how we're thinking about the next 3, 5, and 10 years. Right, so if you look on the left-hand side, these are what we think of as actual ecosystems. It's now Facebook and Instagram. There are businesses on both of these platforms as well as people, right? And so it started out as a platform for people to connect. Over time, we introduced opportunities for businesses to build their presence and their brand on Facebook or on Instagram with pages. And now we have ecosystems. There's advertisements and apps that integrate with both of these platforms as well. So these are our more mature ecosystems. If you look at the 5-year horizon, you'll see some of our newer initiatives that we're really trying to grow, right? So, and some of these are quite big already. You'll see apps like WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, which both have well over 1 billion people using them every month. And you also see potentially newer products like Workplace, which you may not have heard of. Hopefully you have heard of it. If not, we'll go a little deeper about what Workplace is. And it's also some of our newer initiatives around video. Right? There's a lot of video content being produced and broadcast on Facebook, and a lot of people consuming a lot of video content. And so making that easier for consumers. And then search and groups are some of the sort of 5-year horizon initiatives as well. And then if you look over in the 10-year bucket, a lot of this is about longer term. How do we help connect people that are not connected today? Right? There are many areas of the world where you can't get internet access. And so that's why we look at things like Aquila, which is the plane you may have seen at the very end of that video. It's a plane that Facebook has built ourselves, and we're testing if we can now beam down internet to unconnected and rural places. You'll also on the right see some of our initiatives around artificial intelligence, as well as virtual reality and augmented reality. Oculus, for example, was the big device you may have seen in the video that the gentleman was wearing on his head. Great. Now I just want to show a video of Cheryl, our COO, talking about how Workplace fits into the broader mission of Facebook.
Hi everyone, and thank you for being here today as we launch Workplace for even more companies across the globe. At Facebook, we believe we all benefit when the world is more open and connected. We've built a culture that's opened and focused on executing on our vision. Workplace was born out of that culture and enables it every day. Building and sustaining an open culture is one of the hardest things that a company can do, and one of the most important. So it's really exciting to hear how organizations are using Workplace to change the way they work. Like the Royal National Institute for the Blind, which uses Workplace to keep its employees connected, including those who are blind or partially sighted, thanks to the AI technology built into Workplace. Or the bank in Myanmar, which used Workplace to leapfrog old technologies. They went straight from using fax machines to connecting on Workplace. Staff members can now communicate quickly and easily. Workplace helps these organizations because it's designed to break down barriers between departments and enable coworkers to build things together. And it encourages all voices to speak up and be heard, not just the ones who feel comfortable expressing themselves in meetings. Like Facebook, Workplace is about connecting, and we know how important it is to get that right. That's why we've made sure the best Facebook features are up and running on Workplace. And we've listened to feedback from our partners to ensure Workplace gives them what they need to build stronger teams and drive better results. I want to thank each of the partners who helped us shape Workplace. It's because of your enthusiasm and insight that we know Workplace can help organizations all over the world. Thank you all for taking this journey with us.
Great. So a lot of inspirational content here. I want to get down to sort of brass tacks and talk about what Workplace actually is. So what is it? It's not an enterprise social network. You guys don't need another social network for your employees, right? You already have WhatsApp, you have Facebook, you have Fiverr, you have Zalo. This is a communications platform that actually helps companies get work done. And we'll share some examples with Tương and some of the other companies in Vietnam that are using Workplace. Some of the questions we got when we first got started was about, I don't want to see personal posts or friend posts in Workplace. And again, this is completely different. So on the left-hand side, if you look here, this is actually a separate website. So it would be companyname.facebook.com. For example, christina's.facebook.com. The company that actually signs an agreement with us would own the data, which is very different than from using personal Facebook or any other consumer application. We integrate with an organization's existing IT systems. So you can make it such that when you create an email address for an employee, it automatically creates the Workplace account. And when the person leaves the organization, the access is removed automatically. We've got support and analytics. Some of the things on the right-hand side, this is again what you wouldn't see. So you wouldn't see posts from your friends or family members because this is a completely separate app on the employee's phone. You can't play games in Workplace, so there's no Candy Crush, right? And of course, we've removed things like advertisements, which just aren't appropriate in the work context. Just to give you a little bit of a visual, this is what Workplace looks like. And so on the right-hand side, you've got, and it should look and feel familiar, right? The familiarity that you have from the core Facebook platform, which is used by over 2 billion people every month. We like to say that those 2 billion people, if they were on board to workplace, they wouldn't need any training, right? Because they're already familiar with Facebook. So the user interface is familiar, but again, there's no games, there's no advertisements. On the right, where you might normally see ads in consumer Facebook, you see group suggestions of different groups that you should potentially be joining. And then the left is a screenshot of the app on an iOS device, the Work Chat app, which is basically Facebook Messenger for your employees. So I want to share a little bit of history about how we got here. Because Facebook, we didn't just wake up one day and say, hey, let's build enterprise collaboration software, right? This didn't happen overnight. It actually happened very organically. So I want to take you back about 6 years. 6 years ago at our F8 conference, we announced Facebook Groups as a core product within the Facebook app, Facebook.com. How many of you guys are familiar with Facebook Groups? A few? Yeah, so a group is basically a private community on Facebook restricted to a certain audience, right? And what happened, really interestingly, at Facebook when we launched groups is our employees started creating secret groups and adding their team members from around the globe. Facebook 6 years ago was just 3,200 employees, and we had less than 1 billion people using Facebook every month, versus today we have nearly 20,000 employees and we have over 2 billion people using Facebook every month. So we were very much we were a hyper-growth startup. We were adding offices around the globe, in Tokyo, in Singapore, in Sao Paulo. We were adding a lot of team members that were maybe new to our culture and our way of doing things. And it just wasn't convenient to communicate over email or email distribution lists. And so very organically, our team members started creating these groups on Facebook. And over time, this became our default way of working. We found that using Facebook at work, and actually, sorry, here's a post from 6 years ago. And Andrew Bosworth, it might be tough to see here, he's one of our executives at Facebook, he announced in an internal, secret company Facebook group how proud he was about the launch of Facebook groups externally. This is really how we were communicating for the last 6-7 years. It became our default way of working, and it really allowed us to scale not only our business, but scale our culture. Right? And many of the values we hold dear as a company at Facebook, for example, move fast, proceed and be bold, openness and transparency, the fact that we were using Facebook to run the business really allowed us to embody these values and live them every day. Right? And at the same time, we talk to millions of businesses, thousands of businesses that are also trying to adapt to change. And we know what happens to companies that don't adapt to change. Right? Just as an example, 88% of the companies that were in the Fortune 500 in 1955 no longer exist today. And at the same time, change happens very fast in our personal lives. We often ask people, how many people have used one of these apps with friends and family members in the last 30 days? Maybe we can get a show of hands. How many have used one of these apps with your coworkers in the last 30 days with the blessing of your IT team? Do you have an IT team? One. Yeah. Usually it's only the Facebook hands that go up in the air. I guess two as well. We have a workplace on here. Right? So much. But that's the reality, right? What happens is if you give people tools that are not as good as the ones, if you give people tools at work that are not as good as the ones they use in their personal lives, they're going to bring those tools they use in their personal lives to work, right? The world of technology is changing really, really fast, and that's one thing that's led to this trend. These apps get better every day, right? Every week or every day. At Facebook, we actually ship updates to code every few hours, both on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on Instagram, but also Workplace. So imagine using a tool at work that literally gets better every few hours. It's very different from the experience that most employees have using tools that are very dated. They don't get updates. It feels like you're using your parents' tools. The other reason for this change and this shift is the changing dynamics of the workforce. This is a global stat, so 50% of the workforce in 3 years will be millennials. It's much higher in Vietnam, right? And millennials have different expectations when they come to work. They expect to be empowered, they expect to have an open dialogue with their CEO, and they expect to move fast and have impact very quickly. Right? And so the tools that companies use really need to change as well. I'll quickly talk about some of the reasons we've found over the last year since we opened up Workplace for any company to sign up. A few of the key reasons that it works really well. The first is that it's familiar. Right? There's 2 billion people, again, using Facebook every month in their personal lives. And there's one thing they all have in common. It's that none of them has ever seen an instruction manual for Facebook. because it doesn't exist. And the same thing is true for workplace. The employees simply know how to use it when they log on for the first time. The second is that it's mobile first. Right? Earlier this week, I talked to a cement company where 90% of the staff is in the factory. We talked to a security company where similarly the majority of the staff are on customer sites. These are employees that never had access to a company PC. They certainly don't even have a company email, but they're accessing Workplace for the first time on a mobile device because they have these in their pocket with them every day. The third is that it's at the heart of the business. So again, this is not a social network for your employees. This is about getting real-time updates that are related to your work. This is about the CEO communicating her or his vision to all staff over an internal live stream video, where she can get feedback from the employees real-time. And last is that it's separate and secure. Right? We've heard from companies and we also heard from employees that they wanted this separation. They want a separate app on their phone. They don't want the feeling that the employer can see their family photos. They want complete separation between work and personal. This quote I love from our CEO. This was an answer he gave during one of the internal. So every Friday, by the way, at Facebook, we have an internal Q&A with our CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, and we live stream this on Workplace. And so anybody who's based in California can ask a question in person. We also use Workplace poll, and so people can write in questions if they're based in Singapore or any one of our offices around the globe, and the top voted questions get asked live every week. And someone asked a question about Workplace a few months ago, and Mark said, yeah, it's an app, but I think about it more as a way of running a company. So yeah, technically it is software. We really think about it as a mindset. It's a management style, it's a leadership style, and I think Google will talk about that a little bit later as well. So really quickly, I've talked a lot here. I want to get into the conversation portion of today. Just want to talk quickly about who is using Workplace. So most importantly, Christina's company. So if you don't recognize that logo, that's Christina's company logo. We'll hear from them directly in just a few minutes. There's a number of other companies in Vietnam that are using Workplace as well. So big corporates like BIDV and Bao Viet, BTV, and also smaller organizations like MomoPay, EcoMedic, iCare Benefits, and quite a few more. Right? So we're really excited by the interest we've seen in companies in Vietnam, and excited to grow the footprint here. Outside of Vietnam, one of the customers we recruited recently is Starbucks. So I'm going to play a quick video for you here. This is Starbucks CEO. His name is Kevin Johnson. He joined as a new CEO about 3 months ago. And the first thing he did as the new CEO was he broadcast his vision for the company live to store managers in the US. And he could get feedback from the field in real time. This particular video is Kevin talking at Starbucks public shareholders meeting about the impact of Workplace at Starbucks. But in the background, you'll see a screencast of the internal live stream as well.
In January, we implemented Workplace by Facebook. Now think of Workplace by Facebook as a private Facebook for Starbucks partners to communicate and share information. Workplace allows us now to stream live open forums and have real-time dialogue with our store managers. We launched this in January with a live open forum hosted by Howard and myself with all store managers in the US. That's what you see up here on the screen. This was actual live open forum in January. And you can see by this live video, we are getting real-time comments, hearts, thumbs up, sometimes a thumbs down, mostly thumbs ups, and store managers asking us questions. Now this was a new experience for both Howard and myself. But we have now started doing these Workplace live open forums with our store managers every month. And store managers have now found a way to create community and better connect with us. Some recent examples. About a month ago, a store manager posted on Workplace. They posted a post that said that they are selling more than 20 beverages a day that are not on our official beverage menu. They are beverages that were featured on Instagram. How many people use Instagram? Get your beverage. See all kinds of beverages on Instagram. Well, they're selling 20 a day. They're not sure they have the right recipe. Well, within a 24-hour period, nearly 40 other store managers also posted and said, I'm selling 15 of these a day. I'm selling 30 of these a day. And then that evening, our category marketing team saw the volume of posts and how much this beverage, featured on Instagram, was selling in our stores. And they made a decision that night and posted back to store managers by the next morning that they had made the decision to add this to the official beverage recipes, something that could have taken weeks, if not months, to happen before workplace, happened in one day. That is creating visibility with our...
So I love that example. And a lot of the companies that we talk to about workplace, they ask, and one gentleman asked me earlier today, what are some of the business values that we're going to get? Right? And every company, I think, needs to think through that themselves when they're deciding whether or not to deploy workplace. But what we found, we've got 14,000 customers that we announced have deployed workplace to all of their staff. What we find is that every single company that launches workplace, while they have some idea of how they're going to use groups, how they're going to replace some existing communication, specific workflows that they would move on to workplace, every single company ends up getting pleasantly surprised by something like this, which they could have never predicted, right? Starbucks had some idea about how they would use workplace. They could have never predicted that this would happen. And so I think some of the organizations that have accepted some ambiguity around what is going to be the business impact, I think have really benefited the most. So I know there's a number of startups here in the room and a number of smaller companies as well. I do want to talk just very quickly about something that's what's next and a big area of focus. A big area of focus for us is integrations with workplace. Right? We know organizations are already using existing IT tools like Microsoft's product or Google or Salesforce or Dropbox. We've built integrations with all of those platforms as well so that more work can get done on workplace. We're also allowing companies to build their own integrations. And specifically, we're allowing them to build group bots and work chat bots. And so, especially for developers in the room that are thinking about building products, might be interesting to think about actually building some work chat bots that you can potentially sell to other companies. I'll just show you two quick examples just to illustrate how this might work. So this is within work chat. The video here. So someone has joined Workplace, they go to the expense bot. You say hello, it says hello Gabriel, do you have some expenses for me to file? You say new expense, it prompts you to upload the receipt. You upload the receipt, you type in the dollar amount, what's it for? 2 Starbucks coffees. Okay, I'm sending it to your manager for approval. Your manager approved, you're notified there. So it's a much more lightweight experience. Now, obviously, this wouldn't work in Vietnam because I know it's very much a paper-based culture. You need the physical papers, but hopefully that illustrates the point. And I'll show you just one more example quickly. This is a meeting scheduling bot. And a lot of big companies, right, organizing meetings is just very painful. So you say hello. You can then click on next meeting. It tells you the upcoming meetings for the day. There's a button on each of the meetings so you can reschedule, or you can say you're running 5 minutes late. But we have a number of partners that have built these kinds of, okay, you need to reschedule. It gives you some times because it needs to check the availability of the other attendees. And perfect, done. But you get the idea, right? You can imagine hopefully thousands or more use cases, right? You could have a bot that notifies you when a visitor comes at reception. We actually have that at Facebook. So if who is visiting Singapore next time and comes and visits me at the office, people register on the iPad, and then I get a work chat message sent to me saying who is here to visit you, and I get 3 buttons that I can pick from. I can say running 5 minutes late, I can say be right there, or I can say I don't know him, in which case security will show up. But you can do a lot of it, right? There's a company in Japan, a startup in Japan. It's a fintech payment startup. They have about 50 employees, and they have a bento box bot, because they get lunch delivered to the office, and they get a message sent out to everyone when lunch arrives, because that's something people are eager to take their break and to eat their food. You can imagine we have a thanks bot at Facebook. So, for example, if I were to, in a post, say, hashtag, and then Thu would get a little notification that says that I thanked him for something, and I would describe what he did. But this also feeds back into our internal performance management system. So every 6 months, when I'm doing reviews for my direct reports, I would see in the internal system how many thanks they got over the last 6 month period. And so there's really a big opportunity, we think, to build all kinds of bots, and we're seeing a ton of innovation from developers. And of course, having localized bots in Vietnamese, I think, is a pretty powerful thing as well. So we estimate, I don't know if any of you have built Facebook Messenger bots before, but we estimate that this takes about 10% of the time or resources in building a native app on iOS or Android. So something to keep in mind. Great, so if you're interested, you can sign up for free at facebook.com/workplace and have a tinker. You can also look in the custom integration section, which is where you can get access to the bot development platform. So thanks so much. Hope I didn't talk for too long. And now we're really excited to have Luke come up and join. We'll have a little bit of a fireside chat about workplace at Christina's company.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Where do you want to sit?
Here, for you. I'll go here.
All right. You want any water?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Here.
Hey everyone. My name is Tu, and I co-founded Christina a little bit more than 3 years ago. Christina is a travel experience company. What we do is actually quite simple. It's getting more complicated, but it's quite simple. We provide accommodation, we provide tour experience via one trip, and then we're getting into food and beverage via the Joy Factory as well. And we're building all of our technology to integrate the experience for travelers visiting Vietnam. So in a nutshell, we're just a travel company providing really awesome experiences. And my exposure to the workplace was actually when, at the very beginning, when it was just my brother and myself, a part-time maid, and then another friend of mine. And we were trying to figure out how to communicate within the team in order to help each other prepare for guests and whatnot. And at that time, there was no workplace. It was via Messenger. So we were using Messenger in order to communicate about everything that's going on, so to keep the team updated on the one guest that's arriving in 2 of our listings on Airbnb. And as we grew, and now we are 154 people, we anticipated the growth as our guest was picking up. And at the time, we started having developers joining our team. We got people looking at bookings, people looking at hosts, and then tour guides were joining. And our developers, any developers in here? Any engineers in here? Show some hands. We got one over there. They like what's the other app? The developers app.
Start with an S.
Slack, right? Yeah. So they're really proud of using Slack, and they said, okay, we should get onto Slack. It's good for project management and all these. And I asked the question, okay, so that's very good for our team, our engineers. So is that good for us as a company? And I said, well, what is the future makeup of our team? And then I started to ask that question. Well, we're going to be made up of primarily hosts who are going to be welcoming our guests. So it's just basically anyone can join our team and become a host. Tour guides. So basically, it's just anybody, not one specific group, not just engineers. So I said, what about just our tour guide using Slack? Does that work? How long does it take them to get to know Slack and be able to use it? I started fumbling around with Slack and I didn't like it. So I said, if I'm having a hard time adapting to a new platform, then would that be a problem for all of the people that would be joining us? So I made sort of a call against our engineers and said, we're gonna stick with Messenger, and when the switch happened, we're gonna go and try out Workplace. So we're one of the first companies to sign up for Workplace in Vietnam. And the rationale for that is with any tools that we have, the key to using it successfully is adoption. People are actually using it, right? So that when that happened, it really helped anybody who joined our team would be able to log on to Workplace and immediately know exactly what to do. And that's why right now, basically our team, really the whole company is in my phone because we adopted Workplace. So hopefully with this chat here, I will be able to share more of some of the things that WorkChat has helped us to build the culture that we have at Christina today.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. I guess I'm curious, do you have, maybe you could describe the new employee onboarding experience. Does any of that take place in WorkChat or Workplace, or what's that like for a new employee?
Yeah, for sure. So with Workplace, it's like it's your own company's Facebook page, right? So as soon as someone join the team, John, head of HR, she posted a photo of the person, posted in the group of welcome new, I think it's welcome on board or something like that. So it's a group that we set up, and it will be a photo of the person, and then a link to the person's newly created account, and then start inviting that person into the relevant chat groups as well as workplace group. So that person immediately becomes part of the company and start meeting people, and people can say welcome and hi, or well, you look a certain way with the photo. So people can start commenting and welcoming on the team. So it already sets the tone for our culture. It's very open and inviting for the new joiner.
That's great. Would you say that Workplace has had an impact on the culture, working culture at Christina's company?
For sure. Like when we started, I always knew that culture is very important. I mean, building and then maintaining a culture for the company is a very important factor in whether or not we're going to succeed at our mission of providing awesome experiences to travelers, right? So with that in mind, we said, what kind of culture do we want to build? What kind of work environment do we want to create for our team? And it was very clear to us that we want a very open culture. We want to make work enjoyable. And actually, for me, I go to the extreme. And I said that I believe that the future of work doesn't really have that line between work life and personal life. It's already slowly blurring. That line is blurring. But I think it would disappear. And I do hope that it disappear altogether. Because I don't want anyone in our team to want to go home after work. It wouldn't matter, because that means that the time that they are at work, they are not enjoying it as much and therefore looking forward to it. So we wanted to create an environment where people work whenever they want to, however they want to, and that is part of their life. It's an integrated experience for themselves. So when we adopted, when we're operating on WorkChat and Workplace, it starts to bring together that experience for our team. They can say, okay, I'm busy, I'm out for a few hours, and then after that, they'll come right back in and continue to participate in whatever projects or discussions or anything that they need to do at the company. So it definitely allowing that connectivity, really connected our team to be able to participate in the company's initiative and the company's progress at any point in time. So that's, I think certainly that sets the tone for our culture significantly.
Yeah, and at Facebook we have something similar, not a mantra, but kind of a saying, which is bring your authentic self to work. I think similar to what you're describing. People don't have to have these separate personal lives and separate work lives. I guess that's probably a little bit unique, though, at Christina's company and Facebook. I don't think all companies necessarily hold that view. I guess I would ask, I think devil's advocate a little bit here. Obviously, I'm a big believer in the platform, but sometimes we get the question, hey, employee engagement is great, but for some organizations actually don't care about it, just being very honest, right? And so they care about business results, increasing revenue, decreasing costs, decreasing time spent in meetings, etc. Are there any examples of business, like real business value, like quantifiable business value? That I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit, that you can maybe speak to, if there are any, or has it driven that in Christina's in terms of meeting time reduction or reduction in telephony costs because of using workplace?
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is something that would be said quantifiable, but at the company, we had this little chat group where just about everybody in the company is in there, and it's called Crisis Reporting. So I've kind of adopted a lot of extremes at the company. Okay. But one of the extremes is that any issues that come up, that comes up in the company dealing with guests, it's required that our team immediately report to that channel. So you can imagine it would just pop out like issues. And just, what was this? Was it the night before last night or last night? I think last night actually. This is last night. We had one of our team members posted in that group and said, we have a guest here. He doesn't have his ID, which we need ID to register the guest with the local authority, and he hasn't paid his booking yet. So no ID, no booking. So immediately, because we have that channel, it's always open, always available. This is like around 10, 11 o'clock at night. And that immediately reached out to our whole team across the company. Of course, there will be people that's already sleeping. There will be people that are already in meetings or busy with whatever it is. But whoever that was available was able to help guide our hosts through that experience, right? So, and actually, I was one of the people that was available, and I said, I'm coming right over. And I got on my bike, and 10 minutes later, I was over. And I was able to calm our host down, be able to talk to the guests to understand what's going on. And it was, and then we figured out, because our host was a little bit inexperienced in communicating with the guests. So she got the driver license, but she didn't get, he also has a passport, but she didn't request for that, so we got the document that we needed. So he's not a crazy person. And then also, he just didn't have cash on him, so he went out to the ATM and paid. So something like that, it's potentially could be a lot worse, because then the guests could get mad at our host for not handling it properly or asking for payment in a hurry. But because as a team we were able to solve it, we can come up with a much better solution for it. So for sure, looking at business impact last night, we were able to do that as a team. I was able to come over because we have a channel for our whole company to always reach out to each other. Yeah. Rather than dealing with it and not finding out until month end when there was a bad guest experience reporting. So definitely, and I'm sure there's tons of other examples if I dig deeper into it, but that's one of the things that really helped us to provide awesome experiences. And every time we do something that's not so awesome, we can correct it immediately. So
that's awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. It's a great story. Were there any roadblocks you ran into along the way while trying to implement Workplace?
Roadblocks. We're a pretty young company, and the tools to us was pretty clear in terms of the value to the team. We have an adoption rate, like 99% of our team is active, like on a weekly basis on chat. So pretty much everyone's on chat. So, at our company, if you ask about being on Facebook, are you on Facebook? Yes. Our teams are always on Facebook. Any roadblock in adopting? I think there's certainly still some things that we can do better in using more of workplace, which hasn't been as big a focus. We posted a lot of things. We've been using work chat a lot more, but perhaps getting our team to participate in some of the discussions on the work chat. But that's picking up. But there's nothing in workplace that has been like a real big challenge for us because the team is pretty positive, pretty much embracing workplace as the way that we're going to manage our company's our team communication.
That's great. That's great. One more question. What does the future of work look like to you in regards to engagement, collaboration, connectivity? I know you mentioned you had some thoughts on that earlier.
Yeah, so it goes back to a little bit of like what my vision of the future of work would be, right? We are a hospitality company, so we try to understand that in order to provide the best experiences for our guests, that starts with providing the best experiences for our team. Because if our team are happy, are able to have a pleasant time at work, then it's more likely that they will be able to deliver the same awesome experiences to our guests. And when I look at what the future of workplace would be, is what I mentioned a little bit earlier about that learn the line, really looking at how to provide a seamless experience for our team members so that they no longer see the difference between work versus personal, that it's always an awesome experience for them, that they get to do the work that they love and be able to do it at any time that they want, whether it's at midnight. A lot of our teams are up at midnight, working, getting reservations ready, and they take a nap at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Some of them sleeps in the morning. So we're trying to provide that seamless experience. And I think that will, with what Christina is doing, empowering our team to really have that sort of that sense of ownership in their own time. That they're not selling their time to a company 8 hours a day, for example. That allows them to feel empowered. And that's where I really see the future of work is that everyone will eventually be able to have that empowerment to really understand that at the end of the day, they're working for themselves rather than working for any big organization or any big executive or any big company, but really working for themselves. And at Christina, we actually implemented a process for people to become host entrepreneurs, for example, so that they can actually have an exposure to the profit and losses of the company as they become more mature. So not just talking about the ownership and managing their time, but really empowering them to have ownership in terms of their the result and the success of their work and benefit from it as well.
That's awesome. How about, obviously there are some startups in the room here in the audience. Any advice you would have for budding entrepreneurs and folks that are trying to potentially build up their own companies?
I've been told that advice is the worst advice, so let me give that a shot. I think if you're thinking about, if you're running a startup, if you're thinking about running a startup, and it's very relevant to today's conversation actually, you've got to really think about what are some of the things that really make or break an organization. And you can talk to lots of people, lots of consultants, like successful companies, and very quickly it'll come down to communication. Miscommunication can get people to quit. It can start a fight between co-founders, between business partners. You will lose business based on just simple miscommunication. So focusing on creating a culture that fosters open communication, that allows your team to be honest, be frank with one another, and to always be accessible. I think that already helps solve a lot of the potential issues that you will deal with. So, for example, when I interview, basically I do the final round interview for every single one of our new team members. And the two questions that I always throw at the end, one is for integrity, and the second one is for passion. But the integrity one is really focusing on making sure that the person knows that when joining this company, given the tools that we're using and the cultures that we have, that they are actually expected to be upfront, to be straightforward, to tell the hard truth, so that we can get to the bottom of the problem and try to find a solution as soon as possible. Getting rid of that inefficiency of trying to be nice. Of course, we want to be sensitive and considerate to our team members. But at the end of the day, the goal is to get to the core of the problem and be able to solve it as soon as we can. And that has to come from the culture that encourages, that supports, that kind of open, direct, straightforward communications. And there was a post that said, you can tell the culture of a company by the stack of technology that they use. When we pick workplace and work chat, it immediately conveys to everyone that we are endorsing, we are embracing a very open and empowering culture to begin with. So that helps to really start it. So having that, I would say that open, encouraging that open communication between your co-founder and your team member would be one of the most important things. And you actually will get what you want when you're straightforward about it.
That's great. I'm curious about the questions you asked to probe on the screen for integrity and passion, but I guess that might be too much to reveal.
I can share one, and sometimes it's really uncomfortable.
Okay.
I would just simply ask, okay, so I would look at the candidate and maybe try to scale them a little bit. And then I said, all right, so you have no more questions? I still have a couple. I said, from 1 to 10, how honest are you? They're like, what? This stuff gets confused. I said, okay, 1 is being extremely dishonest, and then 10 being extremely honest. Where would you put yourself? So I use that question, and people would answer anywhere between 7 to 10. When someone's 10, I get worried. no one has told me. No one has told me that they're below 7. But it's just trying. I'm actually not really asking how honest they are, but in terms of really trying to make a point and telling them that no matter what it is, I mean, I used to steal fruits and lie to people and do all these things when I was young, so I also understand. And many of them said, they usually when they said, I'm a 7 or I'm an 8. So I would ask them, so you lied? The other 2 times, what you lied about? To kind of put them on the spot a little. But essentially, what I wanted to communicate is however you deal with issues before, here at Christina, you're expected to not tell that white lie. It's okay. We're ready to accept that hard truth. You don't need to beat around the bush like everywhere else. You don't need to kind of try to say things in a roundabout way to not hurt someone's feeling. We all are encouraging that you be straightforward, hurt us really fast, very quickly, and then cure us, help us get to that solution. So I do ask that question. I'll keep the other one to the real interview. So on that note, we are looking to bring on a lot of people onto our team. We're at 154 people. We're looking to get to about 400 by the end of the year. Engineers, hosts, tour guides, anything you can think of, chances are our team will need you. So do reach out and find out about that last question.
Awesome. Hey, thanks so much. Any questions from the audience? Please.
I have a question because I'm listening to your chat, and then I can see that tools is like using workplace for this company, for a company. But then whether there is any opportunity to use your workplace or co-working space. So of course, we have a team member, but we also have a community of like the member in our team, and we also need to communicate with them. Like, let's say we can announcement, let's say how that thing, let's say we have an order event, how to communicate offline, come on work, and we have Facebook group. That's what we're having right now. Then sometimes let's say we have a pool, to vote, or we take for party or event or day night. So because it's just so beautiful for us, so what do you think?
Yeah, maybe I'll take a first step. So actually one of the first things we talked to Nam about was that very thing. So we have within work, the way I describe it is think of a workplace as a private kind of universe just for a company's employees. Within that workplace, you can have hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands or even millions of groups. And you can have all your employees there. We have a new type of group that can be created called a multi-company group. So someone in your workplace can create this group, but think about this group as living outside of your company's workplace. And select people from different companies can access. And so I actually, Tu and I have a multi-company group called Christina's and Workplace. It's literally 7 or 8 of your team members, and then 2 or 3 of us from the workplace team. And you can see in that group very clearly, it's denoted that this is a multi-company group. You can see the logos of the companies that are in there, so it's very clearly Christina's and Facebook. We actually created an up co-working space and Facebook group. I think you haven't joined yet, but we can also create one for us and all of the sort of member companies, right? And all of the member companies can join the free version of Workplace and access that group. So, it would be, imagine if you said, hey, to the employees, you have to join this new workplace, join the workplace just to access updates from up. It might be a little bit painful, but they can join via their own company's workplace and access the up co-working space multi-company group. So we can set that up just right after that.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, I just want to re-emphasize a little bit. I think I didn't give it enough credit when you're making the presentation saying that familiarity of being able to just get onto Workplace and be able to use. That's actually one of the biggest things, the biggest value add. Just imagine like if we have 500 people and then we're going to grow to 1,000 and 1,500, 2,000 people. The cost of just onboarding people, training people to use the technology, to put out that resource is so tremendous. With Workplace, anyone from members of the co-working space in the company, 2 billion people are already familiar with exactly how to use the tool. So as soon as we hand it to them, there's zero training. Zero training. People just get on and know exactly what to do with it. It's just so powerful to be able to have a tool that works where everyone already knows how to use. It works for our purposes. So I think that I can't emphasize that enough. That was the biggest factor that made us decide to use Workplace over any of the other platforms. We just wouldn't even consider any other platforms. We didn't have the app, two feature before, and that was one of the things that like, people really love about Slack. I said, it's going to happen. It's going to come to workplace, work chat at some point, and we waited and it happened. But we would even give up that in order to have a platform that everyone can immediately know how to use. I can't stress how awesome that is. So our adoption rate, therefore, is extremely high.
Awesome. Any other questions from the audience?
Hi, Tuesday. Thanks for presentation. Okay, good job. And my question is, first question is, for example, I have 10 people on my company. I did check your pricing is around $3 per person, right? For example, I have 100 customers. You have to pay for them if they join my workspace. The second question is that I can imagine that when I'm using workspace, I have to install separate app, right? What if my customer, when they join our workspace, do they have to install the workspace app too?
Yeah, good question. Thank you for that. So I'll answer the second one first. There's no requirement that the employee or that any user of Workplace has to use the mobile app. So we have mobile apps, but we also have a website, right? So they can access it just from the PC, or they can access it from the mobile website. So they don't have to necessarily install the app. If you're talking about using Workplace with customers, I don't think you would want to invite them into your company workplace. But what you could conceivably do, I think similar to what Katie was asking, right? Obviously, Up as a co-working space has its own employees, and only those employees they want to have access to Up's workplace. But potentially they want another multi-company group that they can use with the member companies. And I think that's maybe a little bit similar to what you're describing. So you could have a workplace for your company, but then maybe you set up some multi-company groups to manage communication with your customers.
My question is that do I have to pay for that?
Yeah, sorry. If you went with that approach, no, you wouldn't have to pay for that. Because when someone joins Workplace via a multi-company group, they're automatically opted into the free version of the platform.
Okay.
And I should clarify that as well. We have two versions of Workplace. One is called Standard, which is completely free. And then there's a premium version, which is the paid version, which has the pricing that you referenced. But the free version is more than adequate for most companies. As long as your company has company email addresses, then you can whitelist those and people can join based on whether they have a company email or not. So I would definitely encourage you to check out the standard version as well.
Okay. The second, so that does that mean that my customer don't have to install a separate app, right?
Yeah, they don't have to install it. Yeah, there's no requirement that you have to use the mobile app. So many people access Workplace just from the website or just from the mobile optimized website.
From Facebook app, right?
Just the website itself, so just from an internet browser. Oh, sorry. No, you cannot access Workplace from the Facebook app. So Facebook and Workplace are completely separate.
Yeah,
so they will.
Yeah, I know, but my question is that, for example, you are my customer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I add you to my multi-company group, right?
Yep.
I don't have to pay for your license, but you have to install a separate app, or you just join my multi-group by Facebook app?
It's not via Facebook. You would either join via the Workplace app or the Workplace website. It doesn't. You don't have to necessarily use an app. Maybe I can show you after the discussion.
So that's the only way my customer can join my group is that on the PC, right?
Yeah, PC or from phone, using a browser, Safari or Chrome or yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just to be very clear, it's basically Facebook, Messenger, those are for consumer products, and then there's Workplace and WorkChat. So those are apps that you can download, but also the same way can happen. You can access the browser, Facebook browser, and then Workplace browser. So people can use both. It's basically two parallel systems.
So my question is, in Workplace, can we use code or protocol? I mean, in reverse, not linear.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
In workspace, can I use call together? I mean, call. For example, I can call my team member.
Yes, yeah. So within the Work Chat app, you can do 3 voice over IP video calls or audio calls.
So how about the group call?
Not yet, but coming.
So
The way I would describe this is that if you see functionality on Facebook, for example, if you see on Facebook we launched group video calling, not a promise, but it's a good chance that we'll get that functionality in Workplace as well. So sometimes it takes, so for example, are you familiar with on Facebook it's not just like, you can also do reactions, so you can say like, or love, or haha, or sad. That actually came on Workplace the same day that it came on Facebook. Right? Other things take a little bit longer. So for example, live video streaming you can do on public Facebook. It took us a few months before we brought that to Workplace. But I think it's a safe assumption that if we launch something on consumer Facebook, that there's a good chance it will come eventually on Workplace as well. And that includes video calling, group video calling.
That's one of the best things. Like I don't take down our team's phone numbers anymore. I used to have to track everybody's phone number. Now I just go in and search by the name and then I call them on Facebook. And it's free. It doesn't charge my phone.
Right? It's awesome.
So you said right now it's not available for group call, not any plan to update.
Yeah, it's in the plans.
In free version.
In the free version, yeah. So yeah, I mean, you can use it.
I have a question on that because I saw sometimes our team would be in a group and someone accidentally called the whole group. And I would see it and I would just shut it off. So it just that mean that it's calling but it's not working?
We test a lot of things in the product, and so sometimes you may be part of a test where you're getting it.
Then when I see a group call, I know it's by mistake, so I don't want to open it up and seeing somebody showering or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, so.
Thank you for your presentation. So it's really helpful for corporate like me. But I'm talking about corporate culture. So it's a little bit different between, for example, some startup company or high-tech company. So the open culture is totally different with some state-owned company like. So I mean the culture. So my company is also start using Facebook at work, but we are like a big corporation, like nearly 1,000 employees, and the culture is not as open as a young, new, high-tech company. Like, for example, FPT, you could see they are a big corporation, but they more like high-tech, so they easily to adopt Facebook workplace into work. But for some company like state-owned and for the management board, it's not open yet.
Yep.
We still have some wall to break.
Yep.
Yes. So, you have any suggestions so that we can help the employees to? Because I'm doing the internal communication, so my work to help utilize this tool, really helpful tool to maximize the productivity, bring all the team members to the workplace and use this and familiar as other office tool. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great point, right? We talk about openness and transparency, and frankly speaking, a lot of companies don't want that. Or they don't want to give everybody a voice, or they don't want to empower the frontline employees. So I think it really, at the end of the day, this is a platform. Certainly your company could sign up, but I think the company will get the most value when the leadership team is involved. Right? So and again, I would love to meet the executive team and answer their questions and concerns, but I think each company has different motivations when they deploy Workplace, and some companies, frankly, they don't want to give everyone a voice. Right? They don't want to hear ideas from everyone in the company. So I think you need to figure out, and probably the executive team needs to figure out, what would they use this platform for. I think a big one is just hearing feedback from the front lines, right? Another one is actually broadcasting from the executive team. What is the vision? Right? What is the vision to all employees? Because right now it might be hard to get that information down to the last 1,000th employee, but like with Starbucks, right? For the first time, the new incoming CEO could communicate his vision for the company to all of the store managers across North America. They actually started doing that every month now. So they do every month a review of what happened last month and look ahead as to what they're trying to accomplish in the next month. So I think, yes, it's a conversation we'd love to have with the team and figure out if there are ways to platform that would add value.
If I could add to it a little bit, when you're trying to convey to the leadership team the decision to use Facebook Workplace or not, it's about making sure that is it adding value to the organization, right? So when we ask that question, then you be a little bit more specific and say, well, does having the ability to communicate with everyone in our company, whether it's one way or two ways, does that add value to the organization? And I would almost say that it would be crazy for someone to say that, no, we don't want to talk to, we don't want to hear, or we don't want to even talk to all of our employees or team members. So with that, I think that's a very common area to start. So like the leadership, getting them to recognize that it will add value to their agenda, their vision, their mission, their goals. And from there, then you would actually, the workplace would actually be something that's very easy for them to convince, because then you can say, it doesn't matter how technologically savvy your team, your employees are. They are probably already spending half the day on Facebook. and really understanding the use of the tools. And therefore, if we do it, we can actually roll it out quite easily and quite effectively. So I think that the common understanding of creating value for an organization, I think it's there. It's just a matter of really being able to sit down and have a conversation and see what kind of specific goals are they trying to reach. But in convincing them, especially with internal communication, I haven't seen any other tools that has such a wide, reaching common denominator as Workplace is, that allows everybody, anybody, to immediately get in and connect and be able to communicate with one another. And there's lots of privacy settings, there's lots of access settings that you can have. So we don't open all groups out to everybody either. There's conversations that does need to be kept within certain circle. So it's not all open. So there's a lot of ability to manage the access as well. So I think it may be a lot easier for you than you think in order to convince the leadership.
Awesome. Maybe one more question if anyone has.
Questions?
Sure.
Actually, I think I have a strict questions. I can see a lot of benefits from using the digital tool for communications, like Workplace, like Facebook. But it becomes it makes easy for people to communicate, and but when and it connect to the community. But when people feel convenient to communicate, people will get addicted to it. And when people get addicted to it, people will get lazy to communicate in person. And for example, if we use Workplace and we get addicted to Workplace, so how, as a leader of the company, how do you balance in the team? How do you balance for your team
to communicate on digital workplace or communicate in person. Like if the team just communicate on the digital workplace, maybe many things, some of the things won't get solved, right? And you want to be the team get connected and get to know in person and together create something, right? And how do you balance between the digital communication on digital tool or in person?
Yeah, I'll take this trip. We don't get rid of all of our in-person meetings. I actually think it makes our meetings a lot more effective. We get rid of a lot of meetings that don't necessarily need to have everyone come together, especially when it's some simple asking a question of some simple feedbacks, for example. So actually what we've learned is that yes, at the very beginning, when we're starting to use it, sometimes people overdo it and just chat away. But it's a natural evolution as people are using it. They're starting to recognize what's more effective. It just naturally happened for us. What's more effective to actually communicate on chats. And they start to, you can see someone can chat a lot and then slowly cut back and be more limited and then trying to ask for setting up a meeting to be more effective. So that's something that, yes, any organization adopting this brand new at the beginning get all excited and will chat a lot, and then you will slow it down to a point where it is more effective. And it has happened for us where we chat on little things that we can get rid of immediately, it's convenient, but we still have the leadership meetings, the catch-up meeting, the product update meetings. Those are things that need to be discussed in person. And we take a more conscious effort to say, do we need to meet in person to make this effective? So it actually helps you to make those meetings more effective when you're able to communicate and solve all the little, answering the little questions. So I think that there's a risk for that, but for us it just naturally work itself out. Yeah, not satisfied?
Yes, satisfied. Yeah, I just try to find the practical ways to make the best using the digital workplace.
Right.
Yeah, I think similarly, I'm not running a company like too, but I think similarly at Facebook, we have a very strong bias for in-person when it's possible. Right, so I don't see this as moving conversation into digital tools. I more think of it as how can you enable more telepresence and more immersive experiences when you don't have the benefit of sitting right next to someone. So for example, I'm traveling to Hochiminh City, traveling all across Asia quite regularly, but I still feel like I'm in touch with my team. I can still ping them, they can still ping me. I still post my meeting. At the end of this, I'll post a little note about what I learned speaking at the co-working space. Right after I have a big customer meeting, I'll share the notes with the team so they can start following up on stuff. So it's really enabling work to get done more efficiently that couldn't have previously gotten done, in my view. Or similarly, how can you have, if you've got a team in Hochiminh City and Hanoi, maybe previously it was expensive to call them or have a video conference, and now you can literally just get on a video call with them. So those kinds of experiences that are just made easier and sort of simulating as close as you can get to in-person.
Yeah, and we have a lot of ongoing projects. Like projects comes up, and we'll have a co-living project that came up, a new boutique hotel that came up. So we come up with these different groups, and I'm running around all the time. I can't have a meeting for all the projects at once. And actually, sometimes there are the same people, the same participant for the projects. But I was able to, through our chat, sort of allow the team to continue to discuss everything that, share all the information about the projects, have the inputs. And when I have time, I would actually be able to check in immediately and provide some inputs. So I'm not holding anyone back by not being able to have time. And actually, I'm able to use my time a lot more efficiently. And still, we will have come to a point and we said, okay, we need to set up a time to sit down and everybody get on the same page and discuss this out. But it kind of get us maybe 70-80% of what normally would take a meeting to do. We get that much done, and then we finish it off at 10-20%, and we have to do it in person. So we don't remove the in-person part because of work. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, there is a big benefit on a digital workplace.
Is anyone here currently using messenger groups in order to manage projects or deal with customers? Yeah. Okay. So if you're using it, switching over to work chat and workplace just allows it to be a lot more clean. It's a lot cleaner. You don't have all the distractions of the other chats that's going on because you're looking at, you're going into your chat and you might have to clear out a bunch of other messages before you get to the things that you need to do. So even having that isolation will already help you. And for us, we're one of the most active work chat people in Vietnam. There's lots of conversations that are going on and it's all isolated into that one button. I open it out and I can see what's going on. Are there chats in groups only? Are there individuals? And I can start to prioritize very quickly in terms of how I get things done. So I go through that first, and then I go through my emails and catch up on some of the other stuff. But it's really where things are urgent in real time. I can see immediately. So I recommend you guys just getting on it and try. And there's nothing that you need to learn. It's just the same.
Great. Well, thanks so much.
One last
question.
You know, Patel, when I was watching your presentation, I'm not only feeling excited, but also a little bit scared. Because by my case, more than 50% meeting with my customer are online right now. And I'm happy with the team viewer or Puncha viewer and for Công. So I don't have to travel to either. I'm very happy with that. And even with the workspace, I think it's even much better. And I think that in the next around 5 or 10 years, the grammar is me in person will disappear because increasing of internet speed. And we also have VR, reality, virtual reality, right? And I have seen Mark Zuckerberg emo some meeting with a friend and his wife. It's the situation like in the office and in his home, so that in the future the distance will be disappear because the internet can connect us whenever we are. So if you have watch Terminator by James Cameron, right? We have Skynet come and to destroy our human. So I think that we have some bot on the workspace. For example, we bought accounting bots, expand bots, something like this. So for example, in the next 5 or 10 years, we don't need some accountant, some receptionist, or some tour guide or some kind like that, because we can do everything by robot, right? And I'm a little bit scared, but I don't think that it will be reality soon, that someday Mark Zuckerberg creates Skynet. You ever think about it?
I haven't spent too much time thinking about this, to be honest. I think these fears are probably overstated. I think even if you look at the bots platform, right? We talk about bots and we talk about kind of AI. But the best bots are not the ones that try to do everything, right? The ones that are like, Siri or something that where you can ask any question, it kind of feels fun until you ask the question that there's not a programmed answer to.
Yeah, I understand how chatbot are working, but I just think about some future.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I mean, I think realistically, but sorry, my point is the best bots are the ones that are actually, they do a very specific thing, and it's very much pre-programmed, right? So yeah, I don't know enough about the future. I probably haven't done enough reading on artificial intelligence, but yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you really want a lot of people sitting around doing expense filing, accounting work?
No.
Financial reporting?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So at Christina, we think about this a lot because we're in accommodation, we're in hospitality. We provide services that are between our team, the experience that our team provide to the travelers, the guests that are coming to be with us. So when we look at that, we also have a technology team that builds things, and hopefully we can automate a lot of the tasks so that we can focus more on the real experience that our team can provide, the real hospitality that our team can provide to the guests. So I think what will happen is with all of this, it allows us to be ourselves even more focusing on the important things instead of expense filing, for example. So I'm excited about all these developments, and I'm especially excited with what we're doing with our team, is to really focusing our team on providing the things that technology cannot provide. And I think we all should embrace it and take that approach to focus on the things that we actually enjoy doing, rather than just saying, oh, that's going to kill jobs that I don't like to do. But you should be happy that we're going to kill jobs.
Yeah, understand. That's not my point. I just scared someday the work with key owners. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I just saw in the presentation you were about to share the video about VIVs, local companies.
Oh, I think maybe it's about the video. Yeah, it's about an internal video that it's very long, but it's an internal video that they were using to promote workplace
Could you
leaders.
share us this presentation through email?
Yes, I can do that. Okay, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Don't worry, I passed it to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks
Yeah,
for
I'm
taking
going to
some
add
time.
the last question, and then, thank you guys for sharing and discussing with us today. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, can I invite you all to the stage to take pictures?
Yeah, sure.